It's Monday, and all is not well in America. Friends, I have promised you that here on Taub Live, one of the most important things that we would do is that we would never, ever take part in the lie. And we're not doing that today. And I want to let you know that we are at a dire crossroads. This is the moment where we need to stand up and be heard. And my hair is not going to be on fire, and I'm not going to try to panic you, but we have a window of time now to protest what happened this weekend, which is not something even people like me who understood that Donald Trump was going to do his best to dismantle the entire federal apparatus and rob us blind for his own benefit and sell our secrets for his own money. He wanted to be a dictator for a day and longer. Well, we didn't know, we weren't told that it was actually going to be Elon Musk who was going to try to be king of America. And we must stop him. We must stop him. And we have plans. And the first thing I want to tell you, I want you to mark your calendar. I did not organize this, but I saw it. We are seeing that in state capitals across the country, all 50 states, where there'll be protests this Wednesday at noon, February 5th. Find your state capitol building, make a plan, bring a friend. This is not a dress rehearsal. The moment is now. We have an unelected billionaire, self-avowed Nazi, essentially, who does Heil Hitler salutes and is supporting the German far-right party. We have him taken over our government, and I am not exaggerating. Literally, and I'll get into it, this weekend, Donald Trump authorized, without actual legal authority, Elon Musk to have the keys, essentially, the keys, the codes, the computer access to the U.S. Treasury payment system. And let me just put that in plain terms for you. That would be like him getting access to your checking account. The U.S. Treasury makes all of the payments. For example, when you get your tax refund, it comes from the U.S. Treasury. When people get paid, if you are one of many of the million civilians who get paid salaries, it comes from the U.S. Treasury. If you are a program like Social Security, where the money is distributed via the states, it comes from the U.S. Treasury. Donald Trump handed access to that system, to that payment system, to Elon Musk. And already, and by the way, he brought in a group of 19 to 24-year-olds, including some kid from Canada. And I have more to say about him in a moment. And we have this covered in depth in Wired magazine and other news sources, including the AP, including on all major news sources, right? And what the hell was happening over the weekend. See, Donald Trump understands, do it over the weekend. And the anchors aren't going to be in town. They're going to be off doing whatever the fuck they're doing. Well, corporate media, fuck you. You should have been on TV the moment you knew about this. Get rid of the regular scheduled programming. Put up the alarms. We are in trouble. This isn't supposed to happen. And what did Elon Musk do this morning with access to that? We are hearing breaking news this morning that he has literally told the entire U.S. aid, this is a federal government agency that was created by Congress, right? U.S. aid, it was first established by JFK, but it has been authorized and created by Congress. This morning, Elon Musk told staff that they shouldn't come to work, that he and Donald Trump were shutting it down. Now, this is not okay. I'm going to show you, in case you think I am actually kind of doing a hair on fire situation. I am not. I'm going to share this screen with you. Here we go. Trump moves to wrest control of, you can see this, of U.S. aid. As Musk says, we're shutting it down. This was 6 a.m. today. Okay, I'm telling you, Washington Post, and I know I'm reading from Bezos's paper, but spare me that criticism at the moment. In the latest action, 2 top security officials at the independent agency were removed after they refused access to restricted spaces to Elon Musk's representatives. Early this morning, he said he's in the process of closing the agency. U.S. aid, as you know, and you probably have already heard, is an extremely important, not a lot of money is spent there, U.S. agency that helps people across the globe who are starving, who need vaccines, and it helps American interests as well. The reason why we established it the reason why it was established was because of the concern, not just heartfelt concern, which we should have, compassion we should have for other human beings, but also U.S. strategic interests. Because when you let people across the globe starve, who is going to come in? This was during the Cold War. It would have been Russia and China, the idea of communist takeover of the world. Now, I'm not giving you a political philosophy on what is better, capitalism or communism. We don't have any of those things in the world. And right now in the United States, we certainly don't have capitalism. We have crony capitalism. We have oligarchy. And now with the richest man in the world, we have a takeover of our government by an unelected, initially foreign-born, naturalized citizen. It's not clear that he got here lawfully. That is ironic. Who has now, who is the wealthiest man in the world, who supports the Nazi Party in Germany, the successor to the Nazi Party. He does Heil Hitler salutes at our president's inauguration. It's not a joke. And this happened over the weekend. And over the weekend, when he tried to bring his young men in, this 19-year-old to 24-year-olds, to the U.S. Treasury, and someone said, you can't fucking have the keys, that person got fired. They're also, of course, as you know, getting rid of people at the FBI who did their job because they stood up to Donald Trump's unlawful behavior. It's all happening. But I want you to focus on the money, because ask yourself, what is the kickback Elon Musk gets for destroying the federal government and cutting spending? How much money did Donald Trump tell Elon he could take? And even if he didn't tell him, he has access. Who is going to stop him from literally lining his own pockets? And by the way, I am not exaggerating. He has government contracts. He is this is crazy. I feel like I am right now on that radio show, the fake radio show. I think, was it Orson Welles who did War of the Worlds radio show? And it was it was a 1938 drama. It was narrated by Orson Welles. It was based on the H.G. Wells novel War of the Worlds. October 30th, 1938, it went on air. And people actually thought there were like Martians taking over. Well, guess what? It's not Martians. It is a drug addict, someone who is hooked on ketamine, who is an ultimate narcissist, and who is not elected. DOGE, this Department of Government Efficiency, isn't an agency. If we let this happen, if we capitulate, and I'm looking mostly at the Congress, and I know the Dems don't have a majority here, but we need to do everything we can to stop this now. And so, as I mentioned, there's already, as I read online, some protests being planned, and this is about stopping Project 2025. But I say, if there are some people, and I don't know who they are, this could be indivisible, it could be a coalition, I'm not sure. But if people are showing up at the state capitals this Wednesday at noon, show up, don't be violent, let your voice be heard. We must stop Elon Musk. He is robbing us blind, and us means U.S. And I just noticed the word Musk, M-U-S-K, has U.S. in the middle. It doesn't mean he's our king. We don't have a king. And I want to show you this, how it's done. This is in Berlin. This is a protest. This was only 250,000 people in Berlin. They showed up to protest fascism and the Musk-backed AfD party. I know we're tired. I know you feel like this isn't the moment, but it is the moment. This Wednesday at noon is our moment. If you can make it, don't leave your job for it. Don't leave your kids in a car seat in the car. I'm not saying that. But if you are able-bodied, or even if you're not, these should be accessible. If you have the time, find a way to let your voice be heard. Call your senators, call the Capitol switchboard. I haven't called on people to do this kind of action, and I will talk to you about it tomorrow. Now, what the hell is going on? Now, I'm going to share with you a little more about what's going on. But before I get back to how Elon Musk has taken over the payment system, is robbing us blind, has taken over the money payment system in this country, I want to tell you what else is going on. You know how Donald Trump promised, I'm just going to go after the illegal people, just the people who committed crimes in America, the undocumented. Well, guess what? That was, of course, a lie. I'm sorry, let me do this. We have a young man, his family was raided by ICE. They run a business. They run a car wash in North Philly. And here's what we're saying. No one ever thought this would happen. I thought that the administration was going after violent criminals, but these people are innocent, honest, hardworking people. They are human beings. Well, friends, everyone is a human being, even the undocumented and the violent. The violent, get them the fuck out of here. But yes, I thought it would happen. We warned you it would happen. That does not mean I don't welcome people in. Anyone who is defecting from MAGA, welcome them in. We need everybody to protest this if we are going to bring down this administration. Now, I need to also share with you, let's just share with you what I love her, Jasmine Crockett, had to say. Now, she is not our person of the day, but I want to get a pep talk here. She tells it like it is. She is in Congress. She is our voice, at least the voice of people from her district in Texas. Let's play it.
Democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
Yes. I mean, Donald Trump is, as you know, a convicted felon. He is a white-collar criminal, and he has been his whole life. And the majority elected him into office. And Elon Musk runs companies into the ground, and those that he doesn't run into ground, like Tesla, he gets exorbitant pay packages. Do you remember how much Elon Musk paid himself at Tesla, and the shareholders are still complaining, right? He paid himself $56 billion. And that is now worth, because it's a stock payment, $100 billion. He thinks he's worth that. You think he's going to not rob from us? He is stealing our money. He is stealing the money that is supposed to go through USA that helps keep us safe. And the other thing I didn't say about USA, beyond this issue of caring about people dying and strategic interests, so, the communist threat, all that, there's another piece. Everybody knows that USAID has people on the ground in a variety of countries who are able to also see terrorist threats. I'm not going to call it spying. I'm going to call it intelligence gathering. And we're going to lose that right now. Now, I want to add for you, I want to share for you what happened over the weekend. I keep saying that Elon Musk got the keys to the bank, essentially, got the keys to all the money in the United States. My hair isn't on fire. I'm not shouting at you. I promised you that I would never take part in the lie, and I won't cover it up. So let me share with you. This time it's going to come from the New York Times. I'm going to share my screen and give you a little bit of the background here. Okay, here is the header. Treasury official quits after resisting Musk's request on payments. Elon Musk, again, private citizen, cost-cutting team sought access to the government's vast payment system, part of its bid to choke off federal funding, right? This is a guy, David Lebrick. He left because he refused. We have a story with 5 bylines here. 5 bylines. Okay, and this story came out on January 31st, which was Friday, but I just want to let you know all this stuff happened over the weekend. So the Trump administration pushed out a top Treasury Department official this weekend after he refused to give Elon Musk's cost-cutting team access to the government's vast payment system, again, part of the bid to choke off federal funding. This is the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. Why the New York Times doesn't say it's not a department is beyond me. This is a guy named David Lebrick. He was a career civil servant. He oversaw more than $1 billion, $1 billion in payments that the federal government makes every year. They put him on administrative leave after he resists requests from Mr. Musk. They called his lieutenants his goons, according to people familiar with the situation. Now, he had been acting Treasury Secretary until Scott Bessent got sworn in. Now, his departure, Lebrick's departure, raises questions about whether Mr. Musk will now gain control of the payment system. Well, friends, he did after that. He absolutely gained control of the payment system. It is done. So that was the alarm set on Friday, right? Now, I am trying to understand, and maybe, I mean, in fairness, I was maybe not glued to the TV. I didn't have a television on all weekend. I did see Blue Sky. I did see news from the Times and Washington Post. But as you know, I have been almost all weekend at my mother's bedside or spending time with family. So it may be actually the case, my friends, that this was actually more on the news than I am telling you. But I don't know why it's not on everyone's mind. So here is the update. Friday, the New York Times said somebody quit, right? Now, this article was on Saturday. Elon Musk's team now has access to the Treasury payment system. Now they're calling it the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. What will they do? They'll monitor and limit spending. Okay, who elected them? Well, guess what? The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, did this. Impeach this guy. What are we doing? Okay, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent gave representatives of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency access to the federal payment system late on Friday, according to 5 people familiar with the change. The new authority followed that standoff we talked about. Okay, now the system could give the Trump administration another mechanism to attempt to unilaterally restrict disbursement of money approved for specific purposes by Congress, a push that has faced legal roadblocks. Remember, they made this announcement. Donald Trump did these executive orders saying he wasn't going to send any federal payments out. And then remember, he withdrew it because a federal judge said, no, that's not okay. I need to have a hearing on Monday. Well, now they don't need declarations. They gave the keys to Elon Musk. Mr. Musk, who has been given wide latitude by President Trump to find ways to slash government spending, I'm quoting, has recently fixated on Treasury's payment process, criticizing the department in a social media post on Saturday for not rejecting more payments as fraudulent and improper. Now, what the hell? Do you know about this? What the actual hell? Now, I want to tell you, there's a really good article. Again, I mentioned Wired magazine. And this is the young, inexperienced engineers aiding Elon Musk's takeover. Okay. And I want to share that with you because, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and I want to share this with you So you know what's going on and you know the sources we should be looking to understand more of what is going on. Now, I'm going to drop this in the chat, friends. And by the way, thank you for your patience. This is my third time trying to launch this show. I had to reboot my entire computer. There was something wrong with actually the sound port. What can a person do? Thank you for being here. Okay, so now I'm actually sharing the article. Again, this came out yesterday. Brilliant article. I want this to go away. Okay, and here's what it says. It's written by Victoria Elliott. Give the woman credit here. The young, inexperienced engineers aiding Elon Musk's government takeover. Engineers between 19 and 24 years of age, most linked to Musk's companies, are playing a key role as he seizes control of the federal infrastructure. The Elon Musk takeover of federal government infrastructure is ongoing, and at the center of things is a coterie of engineers who are barely out of, in at least one case, purportedly still in college. Most have connections to Musk, and at least two have connections to Musk's longtime associate Peter Thiel, a co-founder and chair of the analytics firm and government contractor Palantir, who has long expressed opposition to democracy. Friends, and I'm going to minimize this for a second. Peter Thiel was one of the founders of PayPal. They understand payment systems. Do you see what's going on here? Okay, I'm making this bigger again. Now, let's go back to this. So there are 6 men that Wire has identified, according to public databases, who are part of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. Akash Boba, Edward Korstein, Luke Ferrator, Gautier Cole, Killian, Gavin Klinger, and Elon Chotron. None have responded to requests for comments from Wired, and representatives from the OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, the GSA, the Government Services Administration, and DOGE did not respond to requests for comments. Again, these folks are allies of Donald Trump. They go through each of these folks. One of them just attended Berkeley. These folks are, it's ridiculous. There's one guy on this list. I'm going to stop sharing now. But unbelievably, of this group of, this handful or a little more than a handful of young men, again, not elected, no security clearances. Among them, if you can believe it, is a guy, and I think I've got this. I'm going to share this with you from my Blue Sky because I actually need you to see this. You're not going to believe it. And here we go. Do you see this dude on Blue Sky? Kevin Cruz, historian, wrote this. If a 19-year-old Canadian who calls himself Big Balls marches into your federal agency and demands access to your system, telling him to fuck right off should be the mildest reaction you have. And what is that about? This is posted again on Blue Sky. This is Jacqueline Sweet. Contrary to some info I've seen, 19-year-old DOGE staffer, quote, Big Balls, end quote, Edward Korstein did not delete his X account. It just renamed and is private. Wired reported that government tech workers had to defend their work to the Neuralink intern in an office space-esque scene. We know a little bit more about this kid. The teen's dad, originally from Canada, left his Wall Street job at Morgan Stanley to buy the snack company Lesser Evil, which now has $103 million in revenue. Korstein, this 19-year-old, is working in the so-called Department of Government Efficiency under someone named Amanda Scales. He displays a Canadian flag on his Instagram. No one is clear whether he is a dual citizen. Okay, so this is where we are. This is the nightmare tech bro, unelected tech bro billionaire takeover of our payment systems. Unacceptable, illegal, theft, stop the steal. Straightforward, fucking appropriate their language. Stop the steal. Do it. I don't care if that's what they said when they stormed the Capitol. We appropriate it, just like Donald does and tries to project. It is stop the steal. We must stop the steal. Elon Musk has stolen our government payment system. He's stealing money from us because even if he doesn't put it in his own pocket, this is money our Congress appropriated under our Constitution, which gives Congress the power of the purse. And we have done law school here before, right? The Impoundment Control Act. Do I need to pull that up today? I don't think so. I think we've got a big enough show. Now, everything Donald Trump is doing to try to give people to take a buyout, again, Elon Musk's idea, has resulted in chaos. And I want to tell you, Pete Buttigieg tells the truth. They can't spin this away. This is about the first crash that has happened. This was the crash involving a passenger airplane where I believe it was around 67 people lost their life because the DC airport, the Black Hawk helicopter collided with a commercial passenger jet. And there were 67 people who lost their lives, families grieving. And on this plane, among others, were talented figure skaters and people who cared about others, and they're gone and they don't care. He's just pointing the finger and it's all on Donald. As Pete Buttigieg said, they can't spin this away. The Trump administration contacted air traffic controllers offering buyouts to leave their jobs. It's a very easily proven fact. So right now, they're getting on TV and saying, oh, we're going to hire the best air traffic controllers. Well, they were trying to get rid of the existing ones. And what I just heard on the news this morning, I was listening to Sirius XM in here right in my apartment, and I heard on the news that it takes, I mean, when you hire, first of all, we already are woefully understaffed with air traffic controllers. The training process from beginning to being able to actually be on the job is like 36 months. You don't fix this problem overnight, and you sure as hell don't fix it by firing people or like getting rid of the administrator of the FAA and giving people buyouts. You don't fix the problem by one of the busiest airports having a single air traffic controller at two different stations doing two different jobs. That is not how you solve this problem. Okay, and I just want to say, it is Elon Musk who isn't just stealing from us, he's killing us. Robert Reich. We did not have, remember, Robert Reich is a professor, but he also was at one time labor secretary. We did not have an FAA administrator to respond to the tragic crash last night in DC. This was obviously a few days ago. Why? Because Elon Musk pushed the agency head appointed under Biden to resign. Why? Because he fined SpaceX, one of Elon Musk's companies, for failing to follow safety requirements. Huge conflict of interest. Running our government for his own benefit and the benefit of his corporations. Unelected, billionaire, oligarch, kleptocrat. This is what happens when we don't enforce white-collar crime laws against people. This is what happens when government is on the take. This is what happens when Citizens United was decided and the subsequent case called Speech Now, which allows people like Elon Musk to spend unlimited amounts of money if they independently do it for these independent PACs. He bought the fucking US presidency, but he didn't have a right to do that. We can't let this stand. We can't let it stand. Show up if you can. I don't even know if I can, so don't feel guilty if you can't. I'm in a situation where I probably cannot get over to Lansing on Wednesday at noon, in part because I teach until Wednesday at noon. And as you know, my mother is in hospice on the edge of leaving this world. And I'm glad she doesn't know what is going on right now. Now, I want to share with you, got a couple things. I got Bernie Sanders, then I got my person of the day, and then I got Crazy Town. Here we go, Bernie. Go for it.
Rapid growth of oligarchy. We're looking at a rapid growth of authoritarianism, and I fear that we're looking at a rapid growth of kleptocracy as well. And I'm going to do everything I can to work with my supporters all over this country to stand up and fight back, to make sure we have an economy that works for everybody, not just Elon Musk, and that we maintain American democracy. Difficult time.
Oh, God. Yes. So I want to say something. Someone in the chat, Donna, I love you, but no, you're wrong. She said, stop paying taxes. Absolutely not. If you stop paying taxes, that gives Donald Trump the excuse to raise tariffs and get rid of the income tax and make the rich richer and ruin our lives. Do not do that. Follow the law. Pay your fair share. Now, I've got for you Professor Justin Wolfers, fabulous economist from University of Michigan. And he didn't take the bait. He did an excellent job here of dealing with in an interviewer on television or on cable news, asking him to put essentially a positive spin on the tariffs. Let's listen to this. Fucking brilliant. He is my person of the day.
Does that offset those higher avocados and maple syrup?
Wait, whose taxes are lower? I haven't seen a tax plan. Have you?
Well, no, but I mean, like, well, if I have more money in my paycheck, will I spend more money on eggs, syrup?
Wait, who put more money in your paycheck? I'm not getting it.
Well, eventually that's the goal, right? That like the Trump administration is going to help to lower people's taxes.
So this then is a different argument. This is an argument that it's not about the trade deficit, that we're moving from one set of taxes, income taxes, to a different set of taxes, taxes on imports. Fair enough, you might want that. Let's think a little bit about what that does, who that hits. Who imports stuff from Canada and Mexico? The answer is most of us. That's where our fresh fruit and vegetables come from. It's a fairly big share of the spending of middle and working class Americans. Income taxes, of course, really hit those with big incomes. So if we are talking about moving from income taxes to tariffs, what we're talking about is moving from fairly progressive income taxes towards very, very regressive tariffs.
Right. He said it better than anyone could. And I'm glad he pushed back against her. Don't answer their question. Don't say in theory. Say what tax plan? Okay, now you're talking about this? So basically a regressive tax? Yeah, I don't think so. Now, it is time now for utter crazy town, guys. Here we go. You cannot miss out on crazy town. Yeah, I'm shaking my head during Crazy Town. I didn't do a lot of jazz hands because this is crazy as hell. I'm going to show you Sean Duffy, who is now Sean Duffy is the head of the NSTB. I'm sorry, no, he's the Secretary of Transportation, even higher. He's got Pete Buttigieg's job. And he is trying to clean up the mess caused by the failure to prevent a plane crash. We don't have any airplane crashes in America, and it happens under Donald Trump. And here is his solution. A little more Crazy Town, please. Here we go.
And the historic mission of this agency. And over the last 4 years, when they're having a conversation in the last administration about changing names from cockpit to flight deck or notice to airmen to notice to air mission because it's too gender specific, they're focused on social justice and in the environment, racist roads, and EVs. They've lost sight of the mission of this department. And so we have no place for anything other than the best and the brightest. And so when you look at what went wrong, you got to look at the people that you have in place at the DOT and the FAA and the leadership and the direction that leadership.
Yeah, you were in charge. You fired Donald Trump's team fired the FAA chief administrator. We have had rules about diversity and inclusion for a long time. We did not have under the Biden administration. Under the Obama administration, we didn't have in-air plane crashes. So F you for trying to scapegoat. And that is the craziest of crazy towns, my friends. Okay, so I'm trying to cheer you up, and I'm going to try to close out with this, which is what we always talk about here in this show. And I need to pull up, Prism right here. And Prism, I don't know if I got it. Here we go. Prism here on our show is how we look for physical health, relational health, intellectual health, spiritual health, and mental health. And for me, all of those align with speaking with you about what we can do. whether if we can go to the state capitol Wednesday to protest both Project 2025, which this is part of, and Elon Musk's takeover of our payment system. Elon Musk must be stopped. If you want to stop the steal, great. You can also today just call the congressional switchboard. Just Google the words congressional switchboard and say what state you're from. Say whether do you want to talk to your senator or your rep. If you tell them where you're from, they will send you the right way. I say call your senator if you can first, and then move down the line. This is unacceptable. They need to stop the steal right now. They need to be out there doing something actively to protest and using their power, whether that is going into court and getting an injunction to take this away from him. Now, we've got a problem because the Treasury Secretary gave this guy permission. So we need really smart lawyers, and maybe they're on the case, to stop this now. And I don't know if they can. But what we can do is make our voices heard now. And the reason why this aligns for me with PRISM, with my physical, my relational, and my intellectual, my spiritual, and my mental health is this. I'm not afraid of speaking out. I'm not afraid of Elon Musk. I'm angry and I want to stop him from stealing from us, but I'm not afraid of them. Because I, as you know, see what the end of life looks like. And I look at my mom and I am proud of everything she has done. Now, we had different views politically, but she stood up for what she believed in. Most of which, not all of it, aligned with what I did. She can't stand Donald Trump, by the way. And I see what the end of life looks like. We don't all get to stay here. But what we leave behind is our legacy, and that legacy is what we teach the people who are younger than us, our children, the students we have in our life, our nieces, our nephews, everyone around us. We owe it to who comes next to stop the steal. That is my mission. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are trying to steal this country from us. A private citizen has all the money at his disposal. Enough is enough. It is crazy as fuck, and I will see you tomorrow.